Hi everyone, my name is Teng, and I'm a PhD student at UC San Diego working with Dr. Karin Sandstrom. So today I will present our research on molecular gas properties and CO to H2 conversion factors in the Central Kiloparsec of NGC 3351. So our motivation is to study molecular gas and star formation in galaxies. But we know that to trace the cold molecular gas, it is important to know the CO to H2 conversion factor, or the alpha CO. So alpha CO is defined as the ratio of H2 mass over the CO1 to 0 luminosity. And this factor is important because we know that molecular hydrogens are not directly observable in cold environments below 100 Kelvin. So the most common way to trace the H2 mass is to observe the CO emission and then apply a constant alpha CO value to derive the total H2 mass. However, alpha CO actually varies within and between galaxies, and it is actually dependent on environmental conditions like temperatures or densities. So for example, from this plot here, we can see that alpha CO values can vary up to orders of magnitudes in different galactic environments. And also from the plot, we can see that for galaxies that are more extreme, like ULERCs, they will have alpha CO values lower than the commonly assumed Milky Way values. And also recent studies have shown that the Central Kiloparsec region of many star-forming galaxies tend to have lower alpha CO values, and this can be related to the higher temperatures or a more turbulent environment in galaxy centers. So to study the environmental conditions in galaxy centers and to understand the physical process that caused alpha CO variations, we selected 3 nearby star-forming galaxies that were found to have lower alpha CO value in the Central Kiloparsec. And we observed these galaxy centers with multiple CO, 13CO, and C18O lines at giant molecular cloud scales. And today I will just focus on the results of NGC 3351, since we have done a thorough analysis on this target, and the paper is already accepted to APJ, and it's also available on arXiv. So NGC 3351 is a barred spiral galaxy at a distance of 10 megaparsec, and the red box here is showing our observed region in the central 2 kiloparsec. So with ALMA, we observed 6 CO isotopolog abundances, 6 CO isotopolog lines at an angular resolution of about 2 arcsecond. And this corresponds to a physical size of 100 parsec, which is the scale of giant molecular clouds. And here is our observed moment zero maps for all 6 lines. So first, it is clear that we can see a star-forming ring around the nucleus at about the inner 1 kiloparsec. And also we can see the emissions are very bright for all the lines at both contact points that connects the star-forming ring with the arm structures. So these arm structures are the gas inflows driven by the bar at galaxy center. So just a note that these are not the large-scale spiral arms we see in the galaxy disks. And so to determine the physical conditions in different regions of the galaxy, we use RADAX to model the line intensities under various physical parameters, including the CO column density per line width, H2 volume density, kinetic temperature, and the 2 CO isotopolog abundances, and finally the beam filling factor. So our multi-line modeling was done on a pixel by pixel basis, but we also defined 3 different regions for stacking analysis, which are the inflow arms, the ring, and also the center as a whole that excludes the inflow arms. So with the constructed RADAX models, we can then compare the modeled flux with the observed flux and the flux uncertainties to calculate chi-square values and probability distributions for each pixel or region on the map. And then we can find the best fit or highest likelihood physical parameters. So here is an example for one bright pixel in the northern part of the star-forming ring. So the plot on the right here shows how the best fit solution is constrained by the 6 line intensities, and the figure on the left is showing the marginalized 1D and 2D likelihood distributions. So for example, we can extract the parameters that corresponds to the peaks of these 1D likelihoods. And then by iterating this same procedure over every pixel, we can generate a map like this, showing the highest likelihood physical conditions at each pixel. So some interesting result here is that we can see the temperatures are higher near the nucleus and the 2 contact points. And also we found that the density distribution and the CO isotope log abundances are similar to the values in our Milky Way center. So now, since we have the maps of these physical parameters, we can then derive the spatial distribution of alpha CO by marginalizing the likelihood of alpha CO in each pixel. So this is done by calculating the predicted alpha CO value from the corresponding CO column density, filling factor, and the predicted CO intensities at each grid point. And then we marginalize over the whole grid to find the normalized 1D likelihood of alpha CO. So again, we extract the alpha CO value that corresponds to the highest likelihood and then generate an alpha CO map. So the derived alpha CO map here shows that alpha CO is higher in the center region and substantially lower in the inflow arms. And from the scatter plot here, we can more clearly see how alpha CO varies with the projected Bolatto-centric radius. So we can see there's a slow decrease from the nucleus to the ring, and then a big drop here at about 10 arcsecond, which is just where the arms and the ring intersects. So the results I have shown so far were based on one component modeling, which means that we assume the gas at each pixel has only one physical condition. But we also construct a 2-component model and did similar analysis to see how the results may vary. And basically, our 2-component results suggest similar physical conditions as the 1-component model, except that it predicts a higher temperature at about 100 Kelvin for one of the components. And this is actually similar to what was found in the Milky Way center. So the overall result probably means that there is a dominant gas phase in our observed region, which can be well described by the 1-component model, but there might exist a secondary component with a higher temperature. And because of the similar results in our 1 and 2 component models, the alpha CO variation derived from the 2-component model also shows a similar trend. So we can see that alpha CO is highest in the nucleus and slightly lower along the ring and substantially lower in the inflow arms. And also we have derived the gas-weighted average alpha CO over the whole observed region. And the value turns out to be consistent with previous dust modeling results at a lower resolutions. So this gives us more confidence in both results because these 2 methods are basically completely independent. So finally, to discuss the implications of our results, first, we can see that alpha CO is substantially lower in the inflow arms, and we think this can be supported by our observations. For example, we find that the CO to 13 CO line ratio is significantly higher in the arm regions, which means that there is more CO emission per unit gas mass. And this, by definition, would give a lower conversion factor. But more importantly, we also find that the arm regions show a higher velocity dispersion than the center, which may suggest a more turbulent environment or the existence of shear in these spar-driven gas inflows. And these higher velocity dispersion could lead to more escape CO emission and lower CO optical depth in the arms. So we think that the gas dynamics in the inflows is probably why the conversion factor is substantially lower, because a larger line width can allow more CO emission to escape. And so we will observe more fraction of CO and therefore a lower conversion factor. And another interesting thing we found is that although the alpha CO in the center or the ring is not as low as that in the arms, but they are still lower than the standard Milky Way alpha CO value. And we think this could be related to the higher velocity dispersions in barred galaxy centers. So this has been reported by recent studies using large galaxy samples. And also because our modeling have shown spatial variations in several physical parameters, we also study their correlations with alpha CO and then compare with theoretical predictions. But due to the time limit, I will stop here. And if you are interested in more details, you are welcome to check out our paper with this link, or you can just scan the QR code below. Thank you very much.